So this is the trip that Faye and I took to the Galapagos. This is kind of the you made it trip, and you can see some of the things we've done here, and I'll go into detail as we go along. We started out from San Francisco. We flew via Atlanta down to Quito, and that's how we started our trip. Here we are. What's the scoop, San Francisco, as we're heading out. And once we got to Quito, we flew via Guayaquil out to the Galapagos. Here is an overview of the trip. We landed on Puerto Basquerizo Moreno on San Cristobal Island. I'll go through day by day the things that we did. We were first on San Cristobal, and then we were on Santa Cruz, and then we were on Isabela. That's the trip. Here we are landing on San Cristobal. This is actually where Kicker Rock is out here. There's this little bump on the end of San Cristobal. And this quarry we actually went by on some of our walks. That's our landing there. This is our beautiful Puerto Basquerizo Moreno, the beautiful water there. This is looking out from our Sunset Hotel. Here's what we did the first day. This is a lava lizard. So the first day we did a hike up around here, and there's a little, you can hardly see it in this map, but there's a little bay in here that we went to. The next day we took a boat out to Kicker Rock that we'll show, and the last day we spent on the beach here at Playa Loberia. Here we are the first day on the hike. This is our guide for San Cristobal, Martin Lazo. There's Faye and I, and we're up walking in the hills. Here we are with the Charles Darwin statue up in the hill, and this is looking down on the little bay that we went snorkeling in later. You can kind of see the little area that you climb down in. There weren't many people when we were there at the start. So here it is with a lot more people. This is actually taken after we did our snorkeling in there. And then here's a close-up look at a sea iguana.
Going around in circles. That's what he's looking for.
So this is a beautiful sunset from our Sunset Hotel. Here's an evening scene with the sea iguanas. This is a scene from our hotel where I show all the chocolate that we got and some fun art that was out in the hallway. I like these flags here. They're ordered by the amount of tourist income that comes into Ecuador. This lady was waking us up in the morning. You can see the frigate birds there. And then here we are going out to Kicker Rock. This is our breakfast in the morning as we head out, and I'm out in the front of this catamaran looking at things, and here's what we see.
Hello. Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool. Oh, what's it got on? Pilot fish. It's even blue pilot fish on it.
Yeah, so now you get a close-up look at these pilot fish. I forgot to put on my mask here. It won't show up until the next insert, but yeah, see the blue pilot fish there? And then off they go down into the deep. Here's what Kicker Rock looks like when we got there. It's this volcanic plug with a crack in the middle. We actually swam through this crack. So here we are getting into the water. Right.
That's a little cool.
Then here's our first look at hammerhead sharks. That's Faye there. And here we are looking at an eagle ray. There we are at the top. Here we are looking at I think it's a mobile array. I'll show in a second. Which this? Because this would show up. So this shows the difference between manta rays and mobile arrays. And I actually couldn't tell all that well, but we can look back at that video and try to tell which is which. So here's hawksbill turtle. There's Faye and I up there at the top. This is actually at the north end of Kicker Rock. Now, this is the one where I take a video and I go down to the Solema, and then he takes a video of me and he goes down and he looks back up at us. So I like this sequence. Fun. He was down there videoing the sea lions, so I'm sure that's fun. I told you. So that's my video of him. Now here's his video of me. There we are. There's the sea lion going through. So then after that, that was a very fun snorkeling trip. Then we went out on this island on the way back, and there's our little Zodiac and some people we were with, and some nice purple crabs. And here they are on the beach. I'll zoom in a second on.
Like a turquoise underneath.
And now I'm very contemplative on the way back. There's a couple of marine iguanas. Here's these benches that are purpose built for sea lions, and Faye's sitting by one. Here's a scene in the morning combined with a scene in the evening, and we've got the sea lions on the left here. This is the next morning. We went out. There's these beautiful warblers and some fun, sort of actually weedy, kind of fruity things along the way. Oh, I didn't notice there's a tail of a marine iguana there. Here's one of these lava lizards. You can see it's a male with its little bright patch there. This bird on the right is one of the Darwin's finches that was actually radiated to act as essentially a woodpecker. Then this is a close-up that Faye got of one of the marine iguanas that she was friendly with, and here's a sign of a tropical bird there. Here's Faye with her marine iguana, and then this is a still frame of a video you're about to see where this male sea lion got up close and personal with me. So here goes the video. We started on the beach. Hey, Faye. I think he doesn't like me in his territory. So I continued swimming off until I heard him behind me. And here he comes. This is slow motion. He's coming about 5-10 miles an hour at this point. Whoosh. Yeah, there's turtle. Ah! Hey, there's 3 turtles. This is Faye's video. And one more that shows me in it. With hers. Okay, then we head back. This is a kind of a swampy area with a bunch of ducks on the way back. And we found our necessary Free Palestine signs all over the roads and along the side. And this is a Galapagos dove on the right here. And here was our evening meal, seafood flambe. This is close-up of Faye with her sea iguana. And then we're off to Santa Cruz Island. So this is a picture of the speedboat on the way over. And here we are at Santa Cruz in the Port Villamil, I think. I've forgotten the names of the port on this island, but you can see the beautiful water there. There's basically one big road on Santa Cruz that goes right through the middle of the island. The first day we went up and we saw a bunch of lava tunnels and tortoises and things, show some pictures of that. And then the second 2 days we went up and we did scuba diving up in here, Seymour Island, Daphne, and Mosquera. I mean, you'll see in the signs as we get to it. So this is a little video of our guide telling us about this big hole.
No, it's nickel there. So this is a natural collapse. That's mean the surface drops due to the time, the erosions. So the scientists thought this is this place crossed big tunnels due to the erosion because the volcano there is in the middle of the islands. So from there, they made thousands.
So here we are going to the lava tunnels. Here's our guide for Santa Cruz, whose name I've forgotten right now, but here I am dropping down into the lava tunnel. And here's Faye going through one of the squeezes. She's on her knees there, and here's what the tunnel looks like. And then we're off to see the tortoises, Galapagos tortoises. So here I am trying to feed one. It was okay to pick up stuff off the ground and toss it at him, and that's what I did there. Here are Faye and I, and behind us are actually a male and female, a pair. The male is the bigger and the female is the smaller of the two. Here are a couple males that are contesting for dominance.
Maybe fine. I want to see who's the champion.
Who's the champion? This is a close-up look of one of the tortoises, and here's one actually eating. Well, Faye actually tried out the tortoise shell, and then we went off and had a nice lunch. That's an unusual glass that we had there. And where we were is near Santa Rosa on Santa Cruz, and I thought that was kind of a fun name. And then our guide took us down and showed us a lot about the tortoises. Here's a breeding program for the tortoises. The different colors mean the different islands. I forget what yellow means. Maybe it's Santa Cruz. And this is Faye and I in our little hotel room there. Then we went out scuba diving. So here we are the morning of the scuba trip, and here we are on the boat. And this is our Mexican friend that we met there. We're going out to Mosquera and Daphne Minor the first day, and here are Faye and I getting ready to go out. And this is our introduction to Daphne Minor.
Search. This is where we have a swell from the north side of the Ocean Pacific, North Pacific.
Okay, I like this sequence because this is when we enter the water. There's Faye on the left getting ready, and we're just about to put our regulators in our mouth.
Okay, right in your mouth. Come on, go. Have a nice time. 1, 2, 3, go.
Here's some sharks that we saw while we were down there. This is a beautiful rockfish. Here's some nice schools of fish we're swimming amongst. Another school of fish. That's our Mexican friend there. There's our dive master. I think that's Faye. I know that's me. Here's a stingray that we saw along the way. Next is a little clip that shows Faye in it. And this is a close-up I got with a moray eel while I was there. There's also some Salema we'll see. And this is our evening meal at first day. Next morning, these are some of the blue-footed boobies.
If I stood up, I would have missed it.
You just drop it right in.
So now we're off to North Seymour and Seymour Canal. Here we are. Faye had a little trouble clearing her ears going down the first time. This is the only picture I got of a male frigate bird's pouch. He wasn't flying, wasn't a very good picture, but a little box fish that I enjoyed. Here's another eagle ray. Big school of fish. That's Faye right there. And here are the garden eels. They're kind of hard to see, but I've got a video of it. So this section, we were just about to finish our dive and we're kind of hanging out on the bottom in an area with strong currents, waiting to form up with the rest of our group. I got a little excited by that shark behind us. And then we were done with our scuba diving. This is our last exit. Everybody okay? Yep. So this shows what it looked like when we were getting out of the boat. The rope that we hung on to, our guide would take off our weight belt and our fins and so forth. We'd climb in the boat. Here we are at our last dinner where Faye got her fleet of beer here. This is looking down at this little train that runs along there. You can see some sharks in the bay there. And now we're heading off on the speedboat to Isabella Island. And that's what this shows here. This shows where we went off to the volcano. We did some diving around here and we did our last day going to Lost Tunnels. So here's our little hotel on the beach, a little quick video.
It's like layers of lava, black stuff on top. It's our hotel back there.
And this is a snorkeling outing we went on, Islote Tintoreas. And we can see the penguins and the blue-footed boobies. There's the story of the blue-footed boobies.
He doesn't know what to make of it. What do you think of that? We gonna run it away?
So that little clip showed where the festival was later, you'll see later. Here's a brief video clip that shows both blue-footed boobies and penguins. Blue-footed boobies, there's also a red-footed boobies species. They evolved to pull out proteins from their fish and have that protein color their feet. So the better they are at diving and catching fish, the brighter will be their feet. And so they have a mating dance where they raise their feet and they show each other how bright their feet are so they can pick out the best mates. Here's actually a mating dance of some marine iguanas.
Oh boy. This is my space, don't be close to me, right?
And on that day, we went out and did some snorkeling. There's a stingray we saw and a heron that was in some of the trees. This is some fish that were close to the mangroves, tiny little thousands of fish in. A little white-tipped shark we saw there and a turtle, lots of turtles around. This was Super Bowl Sunday. So while the festival was going on, for a time, I watched part of the Super Bowl. All Spanish announcers, of course. Here's the festival. I thought this warship that was sitting off our little beach there, kind of interesting, from the Ecuadorian Navy. And then we went off to Vulcan Negra. And you can see the hike a little bit up here. It was raining. And here's the scene as we approached the caldera.
I'd say that's a pretty good view.
Here's some closer up scenes of the caldera. This is Faye and I, and here's our guide. As I recall, that was Gabriel. Oh, Georgios, I think, was the guy in Santa Cruz. And then this is the end of the hike. You can see it was wet and rainy and climbing in the truck.
Is there room for my backpack in there? Oh, wow. Hang on a minute.
And then we went down and had a nice lunch, although I think it might have been the lunch that I got sick at. And you can see some of these really big leaves and various fungi and things on the way down the mountain. Faye went on a hike on her own and saw this very nice snake. It's a Galapagos racer. It's the only snake that lives in the Galapagos. And also I enjoyed these, you could think of them as snake-like flowers there. Our last outing was down here to Union Island on a boat trip. As we went out, we saw some baby marine iguanas on the dock, and we saw some various rays in the bay. And here's our group heading out, and this is Union Rock. And once we got past that, we had to surf in past the surf. And so here we are surfing in to get to Lost Tunnels, where all the arches were. This is really a beautiful area. It was raining when we got there, so you'll see the rain coming down. You see all these arches around.
Oh, okay. Are you taking the still pictures too, Dad? Oh,
So here's some of the still pictures for Faye's request. This is our group. I like this panorama with all these arches over here and the arches you see here. And this is a candle cactus. And here's Faye out walking on this arch. And this is a little hawksbill turtle that happened to be there. Oh, so cute. Here we are doing our snorkeling. There's lots of video from the turtles. There I am, and Faye is by one of the turtles there. This is like going under an arch, you know, that and there I am with my camera and everything. You get the idea. I like these wrasses that swim around the feeding turtles. And this is some beautiful blue coral that we saw there and some more turtles. And So this is in really shallow water. You'll see in just a second. These are a couple of white tip reef sharks in a little cave there.
One, two, three. One, two, one, one.
So this is a snake eel that Faye noticed, and our guide took a little video of. First, we thought it might be a sea snake, but it's actually a snake eel. And here's some close-ups we got of seahorses. And that was the end of Lost Tunnels. Here we are getting out. This is Faye getting out.
Okay. Say hi, Faye.
Then we went off and saw the flamingos, unusual feature of the Galapagos. This shows the money that got all wet on the trip out because it was so rainy and splashy. And there's an iguana crossing. And I really love this picture Faye got of the marine iguanas. I think there's 4 of them, at least 3 of them, with their hands and various angles and so forth. They look kind of, I don't know, prehistoric or reptilian or dinosaurian or something. And then this is Isabella Island, Galapagos, and then we're off heading home. So that's our the speedboat we took in the morning to get to the airport back on Santa Cruz. And there's a land iguana. Here's a little video of one.
What do you think, huh?
And again, a Galapagos dove and a very interesting sort of grass. We fly back, leaving Santa Cruz Island back to Quito. Got a milkshake at Johnny Rockets, an American place there. Flying back, we could see some of the islands in the Caribbean. East end of Grand Cayman on the right. On the left is a very distinctive key that I found in Google Earth. And then we went to the Richter Museum, where my dad has some pictures and records and so forth. This is my dad here. This is a flight in 1938, promotional flight for Pan American to open up a route to Alaska. My dad was on it. Here was the picture we found of the underside of the wing of the plane that he crashed in, NC-15376, San Juan, Puerto Rico. I've got a website of that. And here's some of the boxes we were looking through. And then we went to the Miami City Hall, which is the old Pan American seaplane port at Dinner Key. Here's Faye and I there. And also we went to see the Millard and McCarthy house. This is the house my mother grew up in. Her last name was Millard, and it was built in 1925. It's a historical house now. And we also saw the Curtis Mansion, and we went to the Miami Springs Historical Society, which was closed, maybe permanently, but that allowed us to go off to see the Florida Keys. So we went down and saw some stuff down there. And on the way back, as we were flying over the Sierras, we were able to look down and see Banner Peak and Mount Ritter down here. This is Lake Catherine. This is the Ritter Glacier. And this is the area that Faye and me and Claire were all at. Here's Lake Catherine down here. This bump here is actually that bump right there. This is the Ritter Glacier. And this picture in the upper right is me there in 1978 on top of Banner Peak, kind of closing the loop with trips with the girls. So here we are at Banner Peak. Here, Faye and Claire in the water, and there's Banner Peak, and this is the col we climbed, and that's the end of the trip.